everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a multi-strand necklace using products from the February 2021 Bargain Bead Box, which is called Spring Rain. So if you are not familiar with Bargain Bead Box, it is a monthly subscription service. You get $65 to $70 worth of great products delivered straight to your door for $17.98 a month. It's my favorite beading subscription service, I have to say, and I have a coupon code here, Wendy2, if you're interested in subscribing. This will get you $2 off of your first month's subscription box, or if you want to shop in their store, they do have a store. You don't have to subscribe to shop in their store, but if you want to shop in their store, you can use this coupon code for $2 off of your purchase in their store. Now, when you do subscribe to their box, you get a 30% off coupon to use in their store. And you can use that over and over and over all month long. So it really is a great deal. But like I said, if you don't want to, subscribe and you just want to shop in their store, you can use this coupon code for that. So I will show you what you're going to need for this necklace. Okay, so here's what you're going to need. You're going to need the chandelier piece. Now, I do have paint on my hands. I've been painting with PBO paints. See these? Aren't they very cool? They are PBO paint pendants that I'm going to have on my, I'm going to do a sale at some point here pretty soon, but these, I'm doing a video showing these here in a few minutes. I just filmed it. I haven't uploaded it yet, but they are very, very cool. But it's on my hands and it won't come off, so, but really, really cool effects these paints do. Okay, so anyway, that's what's on my hands here. You're going to need the chandelier piece from the Bargain Bead Box. You're going to need 3 of the briolets, and I have wire wrapped 2 of them. I'm going to show you how I do that with this third one. I'm not great at it, but I'm going to try. You're going to need some jump rings. I have all my jump rings here in this container together, so you're just going to need some jump rings. You're going to need a bunch of these little, these are usually used for the ends of necklaces, but I'm going to try to use them on this ends of extenders on necklaces. I'm going to try to use them as a component here. You're going to need some of the spacer beads they supplied this month and these metal dagger beads, which I think are too cool. I didn't realize they came in metal, but you're going to need those. You will need a clasp of some sort. I'm using a lobster clasp. I have a strand of about 12 inches of tiger tail here. This is 49 strand. Don't know that you're going to need that much, but I have that length cut already, so I just grabbed it out of my thing. I'm going to be using 2 crimp covers, 2 crimp beads, 2 wire guardians. I'm using these beautiful quartz beads from the box this month. They are really pretty. Love them with this copper. And then these are some check glass copper spacers that I got at Hobby Lobby today on clearance. So these were actually like $6.99 marked down to $2 or something, $1.74. But I'm going to be using some of them to bring some sparkle up into the second row. This chain I actually got at the Intergalactic Bead Show when it came here to Raleigh, Durham. And you can use any kind of chain that you have, but I'm going to be using this. And then I'm using 2 lengths of the chain from the box this month, and I believe they're like 8-9 inch lengths of chain. You're going to need your jewelry tools, and you're going to need some wire. This is 22 gauge copper wire that I'm going to be wire wrapping my briolets with, so you're going to need a little bit of wire. And I think that's everything. If I have forgotten something, we will deal with that when we get to it. You're going to need your jewelry tools, of course. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to wire wrap this last little briolet. And I'm just taking my wire, I'm putting the briolet on, and I'm leaving about 1 inch on one end and the long part on the other, and I'm just going to pinch it right above the top, the point of the briolet. Now, I will say, I am not a wire wrapping expert, so, take that as you will. I'm taking the small one and putting it over this bigger one, and then I'm just going to wrap it around as close as I can get to the top of my briolet, but you need enough room for it to fit up in there. Like it's a little triangle up in there. You need that room. But I'm just going to wrap it around this longer wire. All I'm doing is securing it, basically, this one, so it'll make a little loop. And I am definitely not the best at wire wrapping. It's not my forte. But there's only so much you can do with briolets. I mean, I did a video the other day where I used a technique in there that Vaughn Williams uses, but that I don't think would have worked on this necklace, so this is what we're left with. Alright, so I've got it wrapped around a couple times here, just enough to secure it so it's not going to come undone, and I'm going to cut the shorter piece of wire, just like that. Okay, so there's what you got. And you can take your plier and straighten this a little bit if you need to. Mine looks crappy, but it's going to be kind of covered up here in a minute anyway. Alright, now you have this straight piece left. And it's very long, and I know you probably definitely don't need it to be this long, but I'm going to bend it at a 90-degree angle. Actually, I'm going to cut it off. It doesn't need to be nearly that long. Okay, there's another piece I can use later. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm going to get right in the bend here and down on the end of my pliers. I don't want this loop to be very big, and I'm going to wrap it over like that. I'm going to rotate my plier and just go right on under and around. Okay, then I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, I'm going to hold this loop, and then I'm going to take my other chain nose pliers, and I'm just going to wrap down, try to cover up the part that I just have there, and go all the way around. And I'm just wrapping the top part of this briolet. I'm not going down very far. I'm just basically just covering up the point. I'm not a huge fan of wire wrapping on briolets. I don't know. It's just not my thing. Okay, so there it is. It's messy looking, and I know it, and I'm okay with that because that is the only way I know to do it. Okay, and then I'm just going to go maybe one more because it doesn't seem very secure in there. It seems like it's popping out of the wire wrap. There's a gnat. Where did he come from? Oh, okay. And let me try to, yeah, it is popping right out of the wire wrap. Why must you be difficult on video? Yeah, this is horrible. I may have to redo that. I am going to have to redo this. Alright guys, as you can see, I am no expert at wire wrapping. And I'm just going to waste this wire because I'm no expert at wire wrapping. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's try that again. That turned out horribly. I actually did it successfully right here, but I did not do it successfully right there. So let's try again. So we're going to make the little triangle above this briolet. Okay, this guy was around here. I'm just going to secure it to this wire sticking up. Just like this. And I know, guys, it's my technique that's bad. I am not a wire wrapper. Okay, there we go. I can do some things fairly well. This is not one of them. I mean, I can do some wire wrapping fairly well. Briolets is just not one of them. Okay, now we're going to go up and over again. Rotate, back, pull it tight, grab it with our chain nose. Let's try this again. Maybe we'll be more successful this time. Alright, and just start wrapping. Okay, it's going a little better this time. Still not awesome, but hey. And I'm just getting down on the briolet enough to where it covers up the point. Okay, and then I'm going to go back up a little. So I covered up the point. I feel like it's secure in there. It looks like it's got a snow cone on top of it. Yeah, I don't like the look of wire wrapped bralettes. And this one is bending all over. It's probably because I've got 22 gauge wire, which is not real sturdy to start with, but if I'd have had a thicker wire, well, you can just imagine how that would have turned out. So yeah, and I'm just going to wrap it around here one more time and cut the sucker off. It's a messy wrap, which seems to be in style, so I'm right on trend, right? And I'm going to tuck in the little straggle. There we go. Alright, so here we have a wire wrapped bralette. Not the best one, but one nonetheless. He's going to go in the middle because he's a little longer than the other two, and then those two are going to go right there. And then I'm going to hang a couple of these daggers on here as well. I really like these daggers. They're pretty cool. So I kind of want it to go like that. Alright, so I'm going to pull out some jump rings. Now, do I want to use chain? I think I do, because I want to kind of draw the chain down into this this bottom part here. I'm going to use a very, very small, I don't want it to be super long, is what I'm trying to say. So for the first one, the ones on the edges, that is, I'm going to cut my chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the way that's easy to do this is take a head pin, put your chain on it like this. Okay, so that'll be this outward. I need one for this outward, so we want it to be the same, obviously. So if you just hang your chain down like that, it makes it a lot easier to cut. You can see exactly where you need to cut. So there's the two outward ones. So these I would want to be like 1 or 2 lengths longer. So probably going to go 2, 4, 6, 8. I'll go about 10, and then if I want to shorten it, I can. I'd rather have it longer and then shorten it than, you know, cut it too short and then be having to cut more chain. So let's do this one. Now, here's what I've got. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components here, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes. So I'm going to have 2 holes that will just have chain on them. Okay, these I definitely want to put on the outside. Then I'm probably going to skip one and do these 2 and do this guy in the middle. So I'm going to need a couple more pieces of chain, but I think what I want to do is go ahead and hang my outside pieces and just, you know, I want to go ahead and try to start hanging them so I can see how they're going to lay. So I've got some jump rings here. I like to use the smallest jump rings that I can that will, you know, are thick enough to stay closed. And I believe these are 4mm. And I think these are going to work just fine. So I'm going to hang my chain onto my chandelier component. Just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to hang my bralette right onto my chain. And I can already tell that's way longer than what I want this to be. So I'm actually going to cut 3 lengths off this chain. Just like that. Now, I'm going to hang my bralette on there. And we'll see how it looks. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, so how many lengths of chain do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just going to cut a new piece instead of messing up the other one, which I might be able to use for something else later. Try to, I know I'm having trouble staying in frame. I'm going to cut 5 links here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute, is it actually 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and cut on the 5th. Right here. Okay. So I should have 4 links there. I'm going to use the same size jump ring. Okay. And that was my weird one. I'm going to put this one on that end. So here's my little 4 links. Get that link off the end that I cut. And I'm going to hang my briolet, and then I'll need another jump ring to hang him from the chandelier component. Okay, and let's hang him right here. And there's what we have. Okay, now I think I'm just going to do a couple pieces of chain right here, and I do want them to hang down a little longer than this. So I would hook them on with a jump ring. So I'm going to cut this one right here. And then I'm going to use my head pin to make sure that I get them even. That's the little cut link on there, get him off. And I need to cut it right here. Okay. So I'm going to take 2 jump rings, and I'm going to hang my chain pieces. I thought these briolets were really pretty, but I had a lot of people tell me that they felt like they were too thin at the top. So that's another, you know, if you wire wrap it, it's going to give it some strength. I had one that was defective. The top piece was already like open. It wasn't necessarily cracked off, but it just, where's it at? I still had it in here somewhere. Oh, here it is. So if you can see, I don't know if you can tell on the video, but there it is. See, it's open right there. Like it won't be any good. So I won't be able to use it. So that's too bad. But they do seem really thin on the top. I think all briolets are that way. Okay, so we're gonna hang this chain right here. Just like that. And there's what we've got. Now, my daggers, I want to hang down just a tad further. Right here and right here. So let me think here. I guess I'll do them on chain. I was thinking I might, and then this guy's gonna hang down in the middle. Yeah, okay. So for the daggers to hang right about there, we don't need as much chain. And I know this is no scientific way of measuring this, but this is how I do it. So it's just my way. Probably drives, and I'm OCD, so I'm surprised that I'm kind of that laid back about it, because it probably drives the poor OCD people crazy. Let me see if this is the same length as this that I already had cut. It's off by 1 link. these two the same? If they are, I'm just going to use them. They are. Alright, we're going to use them. Okay, so I've got a bunch of little chains in the middle here. Let me get my 2 jump rings. 2 little 4mm jump rings. And we're just going to hang this guy right here. Like this. Oh, and I did like totally lose the, I hope it's that one. I just lost it in the fray here of everything going on. I think it's that one. If not, we'll definitely see here in a second. Whoops. Now these dagger beads, I haven't used them before at all. Like, not for hardly any, I don't think I've used them ever. So, let's see. Okay, those were the 2 correct. I think they were. Yeah. Okay, so these, will a jump ring, I guess just a jump ring will go through them. Let me try it. They're kind of like briolettes, but not necessarily the same. So let me see if I can just use a jump ring on them. I hope so. I don't want to wire wrap these daggers. I do not want to wire wrap these daggers. So let me see if I have a jump ring that'll just go right through them and make us all happy. Sometimes, if all the stars align, they didn't right there, but let me see if I have a thinner one. Come on, little dagger. Oh, yay. Okay, he'll go through there. So I'm going to hang him on here and see if that's the right, I think it is, the right orientation. If I can get it through the chain link, that is. Everything's going to be difficult today. Everything. Okay, come on now. That chain link looks big enough to me for this jump ring to go through, but it does not want to cooperate. Come on. You have got to be kidding me. Alright. I'm about to get aggravated and start waging war against these jump rings. Let me find a different one, guys. I'm sorry. That one doesn't look too, I mean, it doesn't look thicker than that chain. I don't know why. It doesn't want to go through. There we go. This one's got to work. Yeah, okay. Alright. And there is our dagger. Don't really care for that big jump ring on him, but I'm not sure what else to do because I don't have, the smaller ones aren't going to work, and I'm not wire wrapping that dagger. Just not going to do it. I'm not sure that would look any better anyway, to be honest. So let's just put these on. We'll see how they turn out. Okay. So here's what we've got so far. Now we need Mr. Funky Briolet here to go in the middle, down at the bottom. And I kind of wanted to do him on an eye pin maybe with some beads kind of in the middle, which would work for sure. Let's look at this. Let me put a couple of these guys. I just want to see what it would look like. See, these beads are kind of large. I don't know if that would look really good in there. Well, it might. Yeah, that actually might look good. I'm gonna give it a try. see what happens. Do I have? No. Okay. He's got to hang down that far, though. I can hook him on with the jump ring anyway. Okay. So I'm not doing a wire wrap loop on this. I'm just going to do a regular loop. Just like that. And I am going to hook it on with a jump ring, though, because I feel like that it makes them hang a little better, flow a little better. You know, they don't bind up. So let's go ahead and hook him on here. Hook him on here. All these chains out of the way that are trying to hook onto it. There we go. And close that up. See how that looks. Actually, I think it's good. So we're going to hook that on with a small jump ring. Just like this. And if the briolette's too long, I actually could just hook it to, if this ends up being too long in the middle, but it's not. So, okay. So there we have that. So we got our little pendant piece made. I think it's cute. Okay. Now, let me get some of this chain out of the way. These little links that are floating everywhere. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to hang this. I'm going to put this on this chain. Oh, I do want to make a little dangle here for the middle. So I need a head pin for this. And it cannot be very long, okay? This has got to be, because it won't dangle if it's very long at all. So I have to make a really tiny loop here. And then I have to attach this directly to the loop in the middle for it to work. So let's see if it'll work. It may be too big to dangle there, and if it is, then that's okay. But I would like to try it. I think it would be pretty there. And I like these chandeliers that have little dangles, a little place there to dangle in the middle. Okay, so I don't know. He may be too long. Let me try him. I think that's about the smallest I can get that loop, though. See if I can get it even through there. Come on now. Yeah, that may actually work. Yeah, it does. I like that. Okay, so here it is. Now I cut this chain so that one of the smaller loops, as you can see, it has big loops and small loops. One of the smaller loops was the midpoint. That's this one, and I want to flip it over to where the faceted side shows, and I'm just going to hook that on with a jump ring in the very middle there. A small one. That's my wire cutters. That was so bad right there, but I just picked them up thinking they were my other pliers. These pliers really need to have different colored handles. I've marked them, it doesn't help. Okay, so let's close this up. And that's what we've got so far. I like it. I think it's really pretty. Okay, let me move that. Well, I just moved it the wrong way. Yeah, I think it's really pretty. Okay, so now, I've watched some other videos, and I gotta say, I think people get to where they try to do too much, and it ends up looking just cluttered, and I don't want to do that. I don't like that, but I would like to hook some of these little guys onto these rings. Like, let me show you what I mean. Let me find a jump ring that's small enough. But I don't want to make this look cluttered. I feel like I've seen some videos on some of these multi-strand necklaces that I've seen are just like so busy. I mean, they've got like 15 different elements, and I don't want to do that. So I don't know if I really want to do that or not. Let's see what it looks like if we close it up here. I think they're kind of cute, these little dangles. I don't know. I'll do a couple of them and then we'll see how they look in the end. If it looks too busy, I will take them off because I don't know, some of these multi-strand necklaces, I mean, I've seen like chains draped upon chains, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then there's this element and there's like 10 other elements, and it just gets to me to where it looks so cluttered and so busy, and I don't really want to do that. I don't like that look. So, um, to each his own. I mean, some people like that, but that's fine, but it's just not my thing. Okay. So, I don't know. Those may end up being kind of cute. All right, we're going to do the second strand, though, the tiger tail strand here. And this strand, I'm going to pull in a couple of these daggers. Not a whole lot of them. Maybe 4. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But I did want to pull in some of these sparkly spacers and these beads right here. So what we're going to do, let me think here a second. I kind of want to dangle a briolette in the middle just to tie all that. I think I'm going to have to. So let me get another piece of wire. Let me find my wire. What did I do with it? Sorry, I wasn't anticipating doing that, but I think it's going to look better if I do it than if I don't. Okay, here's more wire. So, in case you're wondering, I got this wire on clearance. It's Parawire, 22 gauge, just a copper. Okay. I'm just going to cut a piece of it. The last thing I want to do is wrap another briolette, but I'm going to because I think it'll look good there. Alright, so again, watch me struggle. Watch me struggle and learn from me. Just going to wrap it around here. There we go. Going to cut it off. Going to bend this at a 90-degree angle. And I know practice makes perfect, but I think that it's like some people talk about bead weaving and not having the patience for bead weaving. That's how I feel about wire wrapping. I just do not really have the patience for it. Some people do. I'm not one of them. But I do need to get that little point up in there, and that's kind of what I struggle with these. There we go. I think I captured it that time. Okay. I'll turn that around, and maybe I didn't capture it. There we go. Now I did. Okay. That was a little easier than the last time. Apparently practice does make, not perfect, but easier. Okay, so we're going to put him in the middle because I think it'll be good to draw these up into this, kind of cohesive. Make it all, a little cohesive. So I'm going to take my wire, or my tiger tail here, and I'm going to stick this little guy on here. And then I'm going to do one of these spacers on each side. These are so pretty. They're I guess they're fire polished on the edges, but oh my goodness, I'm tempted to go back to Hobby Lobby and buy a bunch more of them because I'm really liking them, and I may do that. We have to go out tonight to see the house that we're buying because Chris hasn't even seen it yet, believe it or not. He had to work the other day, when I went to see it, and they took offers on it that night, so we didn't even have time for him to see it. I just took a video and came home and said, okay, honey, this is the one. And he liked it well enough that it was the one. So I'm going to do another one of these. These are so pretty. So anyway, he gets to see it tonight, even though we've already gone under contract on it. He gets to go see tonight. So I think he's really going to like it too. All right, let's do this guy. This guy. Alright, and then I'm going to do, I don't really want to bring those big spacers up into this, I don't think. I'm just going to do another one of these, and another quartz bead, another one of these. Like I said, I don't want to make it too cluttery. And then let's try the dagger, see how it looks. Okay, try the dagger on the other side. This is going to lay right about in here. I think I may want to put I am going to go ahead and move the dagger there. I think it's going to look better. I didn't think it would at first, but holding it up there where it's going to lay, yeah, it's going to look better on that, right next to those beads. Okay, I'm going to do another quartz bead, another quartz bead. That may be all the dagger that I do. I don't think I'm going to do any more of the daggers. I'm just going to do, I may do a couple of these bigger spacers just to draw, because I do have one down on the bottom, and I'm all about continuity. So let's do a bigger spacer. Let's do one of each of these smaller spacers, these little, and then another quartz bead, and we'll see how that looks. Yeah, it does need that. It needs me to bring them up into there, I think. And I may take these other little things off because they're nowhere else in the necklace, so I don't think I'm going to leave them. Okay, now we're just going to do spacer, quartz bead, spacer, and another quartz bead. Now, I have to see where I want to join this to my other one. This is always tricky for people, and this is what I do. I lay it out, I kind of pull it down so it's laying like if it was on your body, kind of how it would be laying. I make sure all the chain links are flat, and then I just kind of judge where I want it to hang. So I really want it to hang down, kind of like this. So I may hook it onto this link right here, if you can see, because I think that's going to make it hang kind of like I want it. So let me go ahead and bead it up to where it's got all the beads on it that I need. To reach that point. And sometimes it's just trial and error. I mean, sometimes you have to, if you're finishing it off with a wire guardian, you can hook it on with a jump ring if you want, so you can actually move it if it's not in the spot that you want it to be when you go to, let's see, I've got to bead up a little more to actually hook it into that spot. So let me grab a couple more of those quartz beads. Thankfully, we had a bunch of these. They are really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to do another spacer, quartz bead, spacer, and a quartz bead. Okay. Now, let's lay this out here, okay? Kind of V-neck it like it would be if you were wearing it. and just kind of judge where it's going to lay, like this. If I hook it to these little rings here, is it going to be down far enough that I want it to kind of bend? And I think I'm going to add like 2 or 3 of these spacers to the end. That looks good. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my wire guardian and my crimp bead on this one end. So, if you're not familiar with this, you take your crimp bead and you put it on first. Then you have this little wire guardian. You go ahead and put this just protects your wire, that's all it does. You go up one side of the channel, down the other side. Whoops. It's a little fiddly. Okay. Pull it up. Put your crimp bead up both wires like this. Okay, pull this guy up. Now, one thing I like to do is I like to take my pliers and I like to pinch this wire guardian together right there in the middle. So it lays like that. And you want to pull it up and make sure that it's sitting up. Your wire is sitting in the channel, like it's not coming down like this. Okay. Now, we need to crimp this, okay? I watched a video the other day. I'm going to see if this works. So they said in the video, you take it, you uncross your wires, okay? Make sure that wire guardian's there. You put it in the front channel first. Make sure your wires are uncrossed. That was important. Which mine are not at the moment. Okay. There we go. I'm struggling. Okay, come on now. Let me get the wires uncrossed. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. Okay, so you put it in the first channel that I have been told, and you press it down, and that's supposed to make it an oval shape, which my wires are still crossing. It doesn't seem that it did anything. It's supposed to make it an oval shape, okay? And then holding that tight, you go to the back channel with your wires still uncrossed. And then you press that down, and it's supposed to bend that in between the two wires, and it definitely did do that. I see that. Each wire is in its own little thing now. Then you're supposed to rotate it vertically and go back to your front channel and squeeze. And she said go around and squeeze like this. Don't just squeeze in one spot. Squeeze here, and squeeze here, and squeeze here. And that is supposed to be the perfect little crimp. And I do have to say, that is the best crimp I've ever made in my life. I am like, wow, okay, that is the best crimp I've ever done, guys, ever in my entire little life. That's the best crimp. We're going to put a cover on it. I don't even want to cover it up now. It's so pretty. I did it good. Wow, okay. And I struggle with crimping. You all know I do. So I gotta say, that technique works. There we go. So we got our little wire guardian. Now we're going to put our beads up here to the edge, to the end. And I put some beads, I just put them over top of this wire. Okay, just like that. And there's what we have. So I'm going to do the other end, same thing. Let's see if this magical crimping works again. I am so impressed. It did. I have struggled with crimping so much. So thank you to the Michaels lady that put that video out. And to everyone who shared it on Facebook and everywhere else, YouTube, whatever. Thank you. Let's see if it works again. Alright, so we go down our wire guardian channel on the other side, down through our crimp bead, come on now, down through a couple beads, okay, and we got to pull this tight. Okay, I'm going to take my wire guardian and squeeze it together. There we go. Now we want this tight. We don't want those beads. We don't want it so tight that it can't have any flexibility, but yet we don't want your beads floating either. So just try to get it fairly tight. Let's do this again. Let's do this magic. Make sure it's tight enough. Okay. All right, so here's the magic. We take it and we put it in the front. And my wires are not crossed. I did make sure of that. Then we go to the back. And it does make a little channel and each wire's in there. Then we do this. Oh man, I am so impressed with this. That makes it look so much better. Wow, okay. I think I've mastered crimping. I hope. And I am going to put my cover over it, as I did on my other side. Even though it's a beautiful enough little crimp that it didn't even need it. Man, I'm going to use it anyway. Okay, there's our little cover. Okay, so here's what we've got now. And we need to hook this to our necklace. So I definitely want this in the middle. I'm going to hook it on either side to this little piece right here. Okay. I would do it to that ring, but I think the ring is a little too high. So I'm just going to hook it to this little piece right here and have it lay a little bit in front of this other, of my other chain section. So I'm taking a small jump ring again. Going to open it up. Well, except for you can't open a closed jump ring, can you? That was odd. Okay, small jump ring. Open it up. And I'm going to take this right here and I'm hooking it to this piece right here in front of that link. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Let me get another small jump ring. And you want to make sure that you hook them correctly and make sure that you're hooking that in front of that other chain link like you did on this side. So grab it, you know, like this. And let's see. It's on this. Is it on that link? Which link is it? Crap. Yeah, it's this link. Okay, and we're going to go right in here in front. And if you don't do that, it's not going to hang right. You're going to be in the front in one and then the back in the other, and you don't really want that, I don't think. Okay, so there we go. So this is what we've got when we pick it up. Now, it is not hanging. It needs to go higher. So if that happens, when you pick it up and it needs to go higher, you just take your little ring and we're going to move it up. It hangs lower than I thought. So we'll just go up. We'll take it off of here and I'm just going to put it right on this ring now because I need it to go a little higher. That's the good thing about using a wire guardian and jump rings to hook these on, these little multi-strand, when you're doing a multi-strand necklace, because you can move it, you can adjust it. If you know, hook your wire guardian right onto there, then there's no moving it or adjusting it. And really, I don't think the jump ring makes that much difference in the look of it, but it's going to make it nice for you to be able to make sure you get this hanging like you want it to be. Okay? So I'm just going to hook it directly to this ring this time. And then I'll pick it up and we'll see. Okay, so then when I pick it up, I like the way that hangs much better. And I will show you guys here in a minute. I'll put it on a form. But yeah, that hangs much better. So now we just need to finish our sides. So here's what I've got. I've got this little figure 8 type thing on both sides, and I'm going to use that to hook my chain to. And I've used all my chain up now. I need to grab another piece. So let me measure this one to make sure it's the same as the one I already have cut. I used my chain to do those little dangles instead of grabbing another one that I didn't already have cut. So it's fine. So I'm just going to pull that down here with my head pin at the top and make sure it's the same. Use my cutters and just cut right here. Okay, so now all I'm going to do, and this chain is too big to hook directly onto that. I'm seeing that now. I didn't think it was going to be, but it is. So I'm just going to take this little figure 8 piece off and just use a regular jump ring and hook my chain. Now you could do a beaded link here if you wanted to, but like I said, I've seen so many of the multi-strand necklaces that just look so busy that I just don't want to clutter it up anymore. Okay, so I'm making sure that both of my chains are, that they're laying flat, and then I'm just going to take a couple of jump rings. Let me see if I can find, here we go, 4mm ones, or 6. I like using small ones. I've said that before. You guys probably get sick of hearing me say the same thing, but I do. There we go. And I'm just going to go ahead and hook this to the chain right here. Now, you do want to hold this up on yourself and make sure that it hangs where you want it to hang. This one for me, I don't want it to be extremely long. I want it to hang like right under my collarbone, because I think multi-strand necklaces, unless they're, you know, made really long, they look kind of funny if they're down too far. So let me hold this up real quick and just see. Yeah, so I've got a little bit too much chain. So I'm going to cut my chain a little bit at the top here. I'm going to cut about probably 2 inches off. I have too much, and I don't want it, well, I'm probably going to go about 4 inches. I don't want it to be that long. So I'm going to cut this about 4 inches off. My other part ended up being longer than I thought it would be. So I don't want this, you know, I don't need that much chain. So I'm just going to cut those off. Okay, and now we're just going to add our closure. So I have a little extender here just in case I do want to add a little extra length. And I'm going to take a head pin, and I'm just going to use a couple of these little beads. If they'll go on there, they will. And this guy, and another one. Oh, they don't want to go down on there, do they? They don't want to go down on that head pin. Okay, that won't work. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take an eye pin. This eye pin's thinner. It'll work. And then I'll just put a dangle on the end of it. A little dagger on the end. That'd be kind of cute. So I'm going to do these on the head pin, or on the eye pin. Just like that. Except for the eye pin's open, which is fine for the dagger. Let me see if he'll just go right on here. Watch it. He probably won't. Be cool if he would. No. Of course not. Okay. Let's close this up. Put these guys down on the eye pin. Just going to make a loop. Roll it back. There we go. Now I'm going to take a bigger jump ring, just like I did before, and hang this dagger. If you can hear Chris, he's in there on the phone working. He works from home, and he's in the room right next to me, so he's kind of loud. Okay, so I'm going to take another bigger ring for my lobster to hook into. I'm going to take this chain and hook this to it. Hook this in right here. Then I'm just going to open this right up, and I'm going to hook this in to the extender. Okay, just like that. Now I'm just going to grab a smaller jump ring and hook my lobster on. I totally misplaced him. There he is. I know this has been a long video, but it took me a while. to make this necklace. Alright, and there we have it. So let me put this on a form and you can see what it looks like. Okay guys, so excuse the mess in the background, and look who is sitting at my feet. What are you doing, Sadie? Huh? There she is. She's sitting at my feet. What do you want? Okay. So there's Sadie. Say hi, Sadie Sue. And there is the necklace that we just made. I think it looks really good. Love the way it turned out. There's our chandelier component. And here we go with the rest of it. And I did take those two little things off that I had put on there that had the little dangles. I just didn't like the way they looked, so I took them off. But anyway, there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll have all the links to Bargain Bead Box in the description box below. Thanks for hanging in so long if you did, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.